Under the neon lights of a foreign city, 3 black girls walked side by side, their reflections stretching long and golden over polished marble floors. Zara, Amara, and Tasha. From a distance, they looked like they belonged there. Heels clicking on the shiny tiles of the luxury mall, handbags on their shoulders, their faces lit by the glow of designer shop windows. But under the shimmer and gloss, each of them carried a story of struggle that was invisible to the tourists around them. They were not rich. They were not from here. They were surviving. Zara was the quiet one. Back home in Lego City, people said she had big city eyes, always looking beyond what she could see. When she got a student visa to study in a European city called Walden, she had packed her dreams into a single suitcase and promised her mother she would send money back. Walden was beautiful in a cold way. Glass buildings, expensive cars, and people who walked with their faces buried in their phones. The first week she arrived, Zara learned something quickly. In this city, people did not look at her the way they looked at others. On the street, men clutched their bags tighter as she passed. In shops, staff followed her with their eyes. On the bus, no one sat beside her unless the seats were all taken. When she told her mother on a crackling WhatsApp call, Mama sighed and said, "You are black, my daughter. In some countries, they will see your color before they see your heart. But don't let them change who you are." So she didn't. Instead, she wore her identity like a crown, braids styled perfectly, dark skin glowing with carefully saved for skincare, a calm smile that told the world, "I am not afraid of you." Amara, on the other hand, was fire. She came from Ghana, and everything about her was loud. In a beautiful way. Loud laugh, loud earnings, loud ambition. She worked at a hotel by day, cleaned offices at night, and still managed to dress like she was stepping out of a music video. Tasha was Kenyan, sharp and streetwise. She called herself HR of the group. She always had advice, always had a plan, always had one guy that knows another guy who could get things done. They met in a WhatsApp group for African students struggling to find housing. One apartment viewing led to coffee. Coffee led to late-night conversations. Late-night conversations led to them becoming family in a land that did not feel like home. Their shared apartment was small. 2 real beds, 1 mattress on the floor. The heating hissed more than it worked. But to them it was a kingdom. They named it the Embassy of Surviving Black Girls in Walden. Saturday was the one night they pretended that life was not a war. The one night they dressed up, put on red lipstick, and walked into luxury spaces like God sent them an invitation. This Saturday, the city felt electric. A new rooftop lounge had opened, Skyline Noir, with a glass pool, a view of the whole city, and a strict door policy. It was the kind of place where influencers took pictures and rich men ordered bottles of champagne like they were buying water. "I heard they don't even let people in if their shoes don't shine," Tasha said, checking her reflection in the cracked mirror of their tiny hallway. "Then we'll shine," Amara replied, snapping on her hoop earrings. "We might be broke, but we're not basic." Zara stood by the window looking down at the streetlights. "Are we sure we should go? I still haven't sent Mama the money for this month. And I'm behind on my tuition." Amara walked over and gently turned her away from the window. "Baby girl, your problems will still be here tomorrow. Tonight you deserve to breathe. Just once. You hear me?" Zara smiled weakly. "Just one night. Welcome to Skyline Noir." Inside, the club was a dream, a floating world above the city. Glass walls revealed glittering skyscrapers. A DJ played smooth Afrofusion. People lounged on leather sofas, laughing over drinks that cost more than the girls' weekly groceries. "Wow," Zara whispered. "This," Tasha said, "is the world they said we could never touch." They found Leo at a corner table, already surrounded by people. Expensive cologne, open shirt, thick wristwatch. When he saw them, his eyes lit up. "My favorite ladies," he said, standing to hug them. "You look dangerous." Amara laughed. "Dangerous is expensive. We'll take that as a compliment." He ordered drinks, sparkling cocktails with fruit and gold flakes. As the waiter poured, Zara did the math in her head and forced herself not to panic. This was not her world. but for a moment it felt good to pretend. Soon, other men drifted toward their table. One was Spanish, one French, one from Dubai. They flirted in clumsy English, buying more drinks, leaning in to talk over the music. Amara handled it like a queen. "So what do you do?" one guy asked her, his shirt half unbuttoned. "I run emotions," she replied. He frowned. "What is that?" "I decide who gets my time and who doesn't." Tasha burst out laughing. Zara, meanwhile, sat at the edge of the group, watching. She let them talk, flirt, trade compliments. She smiled politely when someone addressed her, but her mind kept drifting, to her mother, to her student balance, to the text from her landlord earlier. Rent due Monday. No excuses this time. She looked around the room, at the ocean of wealth. Rings on fingers, designer watches, shoes that cost more than her semester's textbooks, and wondered, how can one world have so much, while another world has so little? Yet even here, in a palace of glass and champagne, there were invisible walls. A few people stared too long at their dark skin, then looked away. A woman whispered something to her friend, glancing at their table with a frown. One man tried to grab Amara's waist as she walked past. She removed his hand firmly. "We're not here for that," she said. "Come on," he replied, smirking. "Beautiful girls like you don't end up at tables like this for free." Amara leaned in, her eyes suddenly colder. "You think being black and beautiful means we must be for sale, right?" she said. "Newsflash. We pay with our humanity every single day in this city. That's already too expensive." She walked away, leaving him blinking. By midnight, the rooftop felt like the center of the universe. The girls danced together near the glass pool, the city lights reflecting in the water. For a moment, nothing else mattered. No visas, no racism, no empty bank accounts. Just three black girls claiming joy in a world that kept trying to shrink them. Tasha was the first to notice Zara's silence. She pulled her aside, away from the music. "Talk to me. What's going on in that overthinking head of yours?" Zara hesitated, then exhaled. "I feel like I'm living two lives," she said. "In the day, I'm this girl who cleans offices when everyone is sleeping. People look right through me. At night, sometimes we end up in places like this where people treat us like decoration. I'm tired of fighting to exist in rooms that were not designed for us." Tasha's expression softened. "We don't need their rooms to validate us," she replied. "These lights, this view, it's nice. But don't confuse access with acceptance." Amara joined them, wiping sweat from her forehead with a napkin. "Listen," she said. "This city will take your soul if you let it. We came here to hustle, to build. These nights are just reminders that we belong anywhere our feet touch, foreign land or not." Zara looked out at the skyline again. "Do we really belong, though?" she asked quietly. "Or are we just visiting someone else's dream?" Amara placed a hand on her shoulder. "Maybe," she said. "But remember, this foreign land runs on people like us. We clean their offices, cook their food, nurse their old, care for their children. They don't see it, but we hold this place together." Tasha nodded. "And one day we won't just be surviving here. We'll be living on our own terms." Just then, Leo appeared behind them. "Ladies," he said, "they're opening a private area by the pool. Come with me. Best view of the city, I promise." They followed him to a roped-off section where a few high-level guests had gathered. Champagne bottles glowed in ice buckets. The floor-to-ceiling glass made it feel like they were floating above the city. As they settled in, a tall man in a dark green blazer joined them. He smiled sadly. "Money is a loud bandage. It covers the sound of your pain, but it doesn't heal the cut." Leo turned to Malik and then to the girls. "Ladies," he said, "this is Malik." Zara nodded politely. Amara said nothing. Tasha waited. Malik met their eyes one by one. "And this," Leo continued, grinning, "is the part most people don't know." He gestured toward the room. "Malik doesn't work at Skyline Noir." A pause. "He owns it." The city noise seemed to drop out for a second. Malik chatted with the girls, but focused more attention on Zara. By 2 a.m., the music had softened. People leaned closer, voices low, drinks half empty. The city below flickered like a sea of stars. When the waiter brought the bill for the table, it was placed discreetly beside Leo. He barely looked at it before reaching for his card. Zara's that bill could pay her rent for 3 months, feed her mother for half a year, clear almost all her debt. Her chest tightened. This world. This is casual spending. This carelessness. As they waited for the payment to go through, her phone buzzed with a message from her mother. "How are you, my child?" She stared at the screen, then at the gold-lit party around her, then at the screen again. She typed back,
"I'm okay, Mama."
"I am fighting." She was about to put the phone away when another message popped up from her landlord. "I'm serious about Monday. If you can't pay, I'll have to give your room to someone else." Her hands trembled. Luxury had a way of making your real life feel distant, until reality knocked again. As they left the rooftop, Malik walked beside her. "You went quiet," he said. "Everything all right?" Zara hesitated, then decided to risk honesty. "Not really," she said. "Tonight was beautiful, but tomorrow I go back to counting coins." He studied her for a moment. "Come to the lounge tomorrow afternoon," he said. "Not as a guest, as something else. Maybe there's a way this place can do more than sell champagne." The next day, Zara almost didn't go. What if it was a trap? What if he just wanted company? What if she was reading too much into a simple offer? But the eviction message echoed in her mind. And so did Amara's voice. "We didn't come all this way to be afraid." Inside Skyline Noir, the glamour was gone. Daylight filtered in. Staff moved around in simple uniforms. The place looked more human without the music and lights. Malik met her at the bar, this time in a plain black shirt and jeans. "Relax," he said, seeing her nervousness. "This is not an interview. It's a conversation." They sat in a quiet corner. "I've been thinking," he began. "This city loves to borrow from black culture. Music, slang, fashion, but it doesn't give much back. What if we changed that even a little in this place?" She frowned. "How?" An event series. Monthly. Stories from the diaspora.
Live music.
Poetry. Fashion. Hosted and led by people like you. We call it foreign but not silent. You lead it. You curate it. We pay you properly. And we make sure the whole city sees black excellence that is not just bottled in VIP tables. Zara stared at him. "You'd trust me with that? You understand both worlds," he said. "You've walked in here as a guest and you go home to fight bills. That's exactly the perspective I need." For a moment, she saw another version of her life. One where being black in a foreign land was not just about surviving, but about shaping the culture itself. She swallowed hard. "I don't know everything," she said, "but I know people. I know stories. I know what it feels like to be looked at like you don't belong." "Good," he replied. "Then let's build a place where people like you do." 3 months later, Skyline Noir looked different. One Saturday night, the glass pool was still glowing. The champagne was still flowing. But the energy had changed. On stage, a young black woman recited a poem about crossing oceans only to feel stranded on land. Behind her, a DJ mixed Afrobeats with house music. On the walls, photos of black students, nurses, cleaners, programmers, and artists flashed. Faces that looked like Zara, Amara, and Tasha. At a reserved table near the front, the 3 girls sat together, no longer guests praying not to be judged, but architects of the night. Amara wore a blazer over her dress, handling the social media live stream, reading comments from people tuning in around the world. Tasha coordinated with security and staff, making sure everyone, from the barbacks to the hosts, treated their guests with respect. Zara, in a simple but elegant jumpsuit, walked around greeting performers, adjusting the lighting, checking the run sheet. When she passed a group of black girls in the corner, new in the city, wide-eyed and nervous, she smiled at them. "You are welcome here," she said. "This is your night too." Later, Malik leaned toward her as the crowd erupted in applause for a singer on stage. "Look at what you've done," he said. "It's not just me," she answered. It's all of us. And it was. It was every black girl who had ever pretended her English was stronger than it was, just to be taken seriously. Every young man who worked 2 jobs and still sent money home. Every mother who prayed across continents for the safety of her child. They were all in the room. There was still flirting and laughter that night. Girls exchanging smiles with boys at the bar. Numbers being typed into phones. Inside jokes shared over drinks. There was still luxury, gold earrings, sparkling heels, perfumes that left trails of scent in the air. But under the glamour, something deeper was happening. They were rewriting the script. No longer just extras in someone else's movie. No longer shadows in a foreign land. They were center stage. As the night drew to a close, Zara stepped up to the microphone for the final words. Her heart thudded in her chest, but when she looked at the crowd, at the black faces shining with pride, at the allies nodding respectfully, at her 2 sisters in the front row cheering her on, her fear melted away. "My name is Zara," she began. "And like many of you, I did not come from this city. I came looking for a future. Some days, this place feels like it wants to swallow us. Sometimes it forgets that we are human, that we love, laugh, flirt, dream, and cry just like everyone else." She paused, letting the silence deepen. "But tonight, in this room, we are not invisible. We are not just the ones who clean after the party. We are the party. We are the story. We are foreign, yes, but we are not silent. And we are not done." The applause that followed felt like thunder. From somewhere in the crowd, Amara shouted, "Say it louder, sis." And Zara did. Because in that foreign land, under expensive lights and luxury ceilings, 3 black girls who had once shared instant noodles on a cold apartment floor had done something extraordinary. They had turned survival into power. They had turned struggle into culture. They had turned a rooftop where they once felt out of place into a home for many. And as the music rose again and people moved to the dance floor, flirting, laughing, living, they knew one truth for sure. They might be far from home, but they were no longer alone. Thank you for watching, and please leave a like, turn on the notification, and subscribe for more stories. Do well to share your thoughts. More stories coming soon.